Cool.
Jennifer Freeman. I'm a professor of toxicology in the School of Health Sciences at Purdue University. If you're microwaving food in plastic containers, you need to be concerned about two different outcomes. The first is the different chemicals that are found in the plastics, known as plasticizers. Some of these chemicals include bisphenol A, which is otherwise known as BPA, or phthalates. These chemicals are endocrine disrupting chemicals, and they can imitate the hormone estrogen. So we're concerned about exposure to those chemicals because if they're imitating estrogen and you have too much of that hormone, you might have adverse health outcomes such as neurological outcomes related to behavior, increased risk of obesity, immune disorders, or certain types of cancer. The other concern is that certain plastics will break down in the microwave. And so if you have the plastics breaking down, you have an increased risk of exposure to the microplastics as they're breaking down into these small particles. And these small particles will enter your food, and then you can consume them while you're eating your food. And if they get into the body, your body's going to recognize them as a foreign substance, and it's going to mount an immune response against them. Microwave safe, that label pertains to the fact that those types of plastics can be microwaved without breaking down or melting during the heating process. The microwave safe label, though, does not pertain to the different chemicals that are found in the plastics. Those plasticizers are still found in the plastics, and there's still a risk that during the heating process, those chemicals will leach out into your food and you'll be consuming them. Ideally, it's recommended that you heat your food and store your food in glass containers. This is going to eliminate any of the exposure to the plasticizers. Now, if you only have plastics as your option, there are a couple of different types of plastic that are considered safer. These are plastics that are labeled as number 2 and 5. So if you look at the bottom of your plastic containers, you're going to find a number in between 1 and 7. And so if you find that your plastic is a 2 or a 5, those are your safer options. Although the overall recommendation is, if you can, is to stick with glass containers.